This isn't the first time President Trump has done this. He's done this in his previous term, which was overturned by the Biden administration. It is quite broad, but specifically also very targeted only towards the United States and their allies, which is currently yelling out double standards because it's not just generally about the ICC, but only if you assist against any investigation to do with the United States or what the United States will deem its allies.
And just for a bit more context, I mean, even prior to President Trump, the US hasn't had much of a relationship with the ICC. In the court's 23-year history, the US has always been outside of that system. Why has it been so resistant to join?
So interestingly, when the ICC was first proposed, the American state was very much behind an international criminal court and a permanent court. However, once it kind of got into place, there was a bit of a fear by the United States that American individuals might be prosecuted without the United States' consent. And so while the United States has supported the ICC in the past against certain people, specifically against President Putin, the Americans President Biden came out supporting the arrest warrant. It has been a very kind of love-hate relationship, I think, between them, specifically when the ICC has targeted United States. So, for example, the first time this happened is when the ICC decided to bring out investigations against Australia and the United States against certain crimes that were committed in Afghanistan. And so while the United States is, I think, in support of an international criminal court, they still want to have some responsibility over their own people and not being taken out of their control.
What kind of effect do you think this executive order might have on the actions of the International Criminal Court?
Yeah, so the interesting thing is specifically because the investigation on Afghanistan has kind of ended. So in the past, that would have really crippled an investigation if the ICC can't go to the United States to kind of investigate. But this specifically when it comes to what's happening in Gaza, that's a slightly different story. What the effect will be is, from what we're hearing, is that it's not only just sanctioning the ICC, but anyone who supports. So that also means US technology companies that support the court. And so the ICC uses a lot of evidence-based kind of IT systems. And so now these systems may not be able to be used, which will kind of cripple the investigation a little bit. It won't completely stop it. The ICC will still function, but it will hamper a lot of their kind of investigation. Specifically, like I think a few years ago, they were hit by a severe cyber attack. Not being able to use US kind of based technology will be a problem for them. And so while it won't stop them because they're not needing to go to the United States, the travel ban won't be problematic. I think it's this idea that anyone supports supports the investigations, that will be the problem.
The ICC has at times been described as somewhat of a toothless tiger. It's never actually captured or convicted any state official. Do you think America's hostility towards it now is threatening to undermine the power that it does have internationally?
You're right. That's now its biggest problem. Regardless of the actual effects of the sanctions, it's the kind of the message of them. The ICC does rely heavily on state kind of approval and state consent, which means they can't physically arrest someone. We depend on the states to do so. And so for the United States to come out and openly criticize the ICC, it is going to make it harder for the ICC to have a form of legitimacy and for other states to support them. I'd also like to add that a lot of the criticisms that the United States has of the ICC are political criticisms, that they tied the state of Israel to Hamas, and that's political. But the ICC needs to remain impartial to politics, and they just need to investigate what's going on. And so, yes, as you said, part of the problem is going to be this message that the ICC, states shouldn't kind of cooperate with them, which is going to make their job a lot harder, because while they can investigate, they need the states themselves to arrest these individuals when they put out these arrest warrants.